I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order on this day, September 7th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Before we start, I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting this afternoon, and those that are visiting and those that made a decision to attend our meeting, and we welcome here today. Before we start with the meeting with the prayer and with the pledge, I'd like to read the remote instructions if you're joining us by remote. You can log into www.zoom.us, enter meeting ID number 977-6119-6006, or dial either of the numbers that I'm going to list below. One is 1-312-626-6799 or 1-646-558-8656. And again, enter meeting ID number 977-6119-6006, then press pound and then pound again. This time, we're going to have a prayer by Commissioner Sakala and a pledge by Commissioner Joel Wyatt.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and for the opportunity to serve our friends and neighbors in this wonderful county that we live. We ask that you be with us in our decision-making, give us wisdom and discernment. And we also pray for our community and all those that do serve our employees at the county and all the municipalities that are part of Sanilac. And we remember that all things come through you. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Sakala, Commissioner Wyatt, for the prayer and for the pledge. As you can see, Commissioner Block could not be with us due to some circumstances beyond his control, but we do have a quorum. And so at this time, I'm going to ask Denise to do a roll call.
District 1 Commissioner John Block, absent. District 3 Commissioner Bill Sarpella.
Here.
District 4 Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 5 Commissioner Joel Wyatt.
Present.
District 2 Chairman Jerry Heberly.
Here. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda today is additions, corrections, deletions to our agenda. I do have two for our meeting this afternoon. One, we will be adding FA 156-20B, authorization to amend the purchase of the trailer from the sheriff's office. And second of all, when we get to general resolutions, Commissioner Wyatt has brought a resolution to our attention that he would like to have some discussion on a vote of the discussion. So there'll be two additions. One is FA 156-20-B, and the second is Resolution 87-2021. I will entertain a motion for the amended agenda.
So moved. Support.
There's been a motion made for the amended agenda. Any further discussion and support? Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for approval. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll oppose the same. Motion passed. Corrections to minutes of August 17th, 2021. I see none. Does anyone else see any corrections need to be made?
Move to adopt or accept the minutes.
Support. There's been a motion made and accepted to approve the minutes of August 17th, 2021. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion passed. Next on our agenda is Commissioner's report. I'll start if that's okay, and then I'll go down the line here to each commissioner. As most of you sitting in this room have been attending the budget meetings from a county level, we have made good progress on our budget meetings, and they're, I think, going well. There's still some things that we need to discuss with 2 or 3 different identities in our county. And tonight, my township meetings start over the next 2 weeks. And the next thing on here is I received a call from Doug Sweet, which is our road commissioner and drain commissioner, excuse me. And I had been working with our former drain commissioner, Greg Alexander, since probably last September in regards to putting something at the end of Ruth Road and M46, a different culvert, actually. Because if you've read in our local newspapers, several accidents have happened there because of fog, whatever, people missed a stop sign. And the culvert that was put in years ago was a good thought, but it wasn't adequate, and people are going off each end, and we've had some deaths in there. So I got with Mr. Greg Alexander from our Drain Commission last fall, and immediately he got with MDOT to see if there was any monies or any grants or any way that they could support putting a different culvert in there. And I don't know how many of you have been down Ruth Road. It comes to a dead stop. And because of fog, whatever, people have ran off there. So MDOT at that time had said they would look into it. And then when Doug Sweet took over Greg's position in January, Doug continued to follow up with that. And here about, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks ago, MDOT said that they would be happy to put a culvert in there. They would fund it. And so from there, Mr. Sweet had got a hold of one of the local contractors and ordered the tube. I got a call from Doug last Thursday afternoon and said, hey, can you attend a meeting, which will be tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 o'clock with MDOT and some other people at the location where the culvert's going. And I said, so if you call me and want me to be at a 10 o'clock meeting, I'm assuming MDOT backed out. Yeah, he said, that's kind of what happened. So he said, I think we need to meet with them. They want to meet with us. And we need to impress upon them that we need something there to stop any further accidents, because as I said before, any of you that drove there or have driven by there, there's nothing for people really to stop other than a stop sign. And if the weather's bad, it's kind of too late. So the one thing that can help, if they go through the intersection, they don't end up in the jet. So that meeting's at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And then again, I'd like to give condolence to the sheriff. And I attended his brother's funeral here about a week and a half ago. So our condolence to the sheriff. End of my report. Bill.
Thanks, Gary. Seems like a long time ago, but attended the village of Port Sanilac. Agri Valley is coming through their area with fiber optics, so they should actually probably have opportunity for hookup as we speak. They're still working on their water project. And with Lexington, their Parks and Rec have been restructured, and they're looking at some volunteers for that, and they're continuing with their master plan that will help them long-term with some funding for other needs. And then they've stepped out into a breakwater restoration project too. If you've been to Sanilac Harbor, the breakwall is in pretty sad shape, and they were gonna get with the Army Corps and try to find some funding to take care of the surface. Their village clerk has resigned, and they had 6 applicants. I don't know if they filled that position yet. And then I was also able to attend the village of Lexington. They had a reception for their village clerk who retired after 20 years, Beth. And so that was a real nice evening, recognizing her years of service. And I also was able to meet the interim village manager. Lexington's village manager took a job in Marine City, and so she has moved on. And just a couple issues, had to work with the health department in regards to septic issue in the district I serve, and they were very efficient on taking care of that circumstance for the individual who's trying to do some additional building. And then the road commission and I have been having discussions. If anybody drives around the county, you see the big tractors that are running around with the wonderful manure trailers behind them. And so there was just concern with some of the roads and those guys going up and down the same place if they're spreading on a certain field close by to where folks live. But everybody realizes we're in a rural community, we're in a farming community, but a lot of the farmers that have been spreading the manure, a couple cases where they paid extra to have brine put down to help keep the dust down and hold the roads in place. And then I know one of the larger farms northwest in the county, out of my area, but they also put some gravel in. So there are measures being taken to try and hold those roads in place with the rigs going up and down. So at this time, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, I guess, do you get ready to fight about it?
No, I attended the Elk Township meeting. They continue to work on their marijuana, wind and solar and electric fiber ordinances. They also have forwarded their master plan on to the planning commission. First of many steps, or maybe second of many steps. BO Township, they approved a contract with the City of Croswell Fire Department. And they accepted a preliminary draft of the Thumb Electric and Fiber franchise ordinance. The Village of Peck, their water meter replacement is nearly complete and under budget. They were quite pleased with that. That's going to make them money, not just save money, but make them money. Their conversion to LED streetlights is nearly complete. They had, I don't know if they got back to work yet or not. There's been so many storms. They had 35 done and the crews were pulled to go out and do storm damage or repair storm damage. And on behalf of the parks, I attended the Cass River Greenway meeting in Vassar, the 24th, I believe it was. And their meeting was concerning the cleanup. It's the final 4 miles of cleanup of the Cass River. Once they get this section done, it will have been cleaned all the way from Evergreen Park down to M46, I believe, everything, tires and all that sort of thing out of there. So they do a real good job. And their next cleanup is the 18th of September. And I told them we have some radio time that I would get on there and talk about parks and talk about their cleanup efforts. And that's it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The cleanup, does it involve any boats as well?
Canoes.
Canoes? Is that what they do?
They walk with the canoes and throw what they can't pick up and put in, they put off to the shore, try to get it to a crossroad.
They do limbs as well. I mean,
Yeah.
vegetation,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Trees. Okay.
And garbage.
Sure.
Well, Worth Township was able to put down tons and tons of road gravel on several major secondary thoroughfares. It's the first time in many, many years where they've been able to do some of the back roads that aren't part of the subdivisions along the lake. So that's nice. I will say the multiple layers of gravel, the 2 inches plus they put down, makes for a pretty lively road. They also put down some brine, which was nice. Sound like CMH had a meeting on the 31st. That's the mental health group. And, among other things, they approved a renewal of 3. They've had a employee wellness program for the last 3 years. They spend about $10,000 that they have budgeted on employee wellness activity. We were given a summary of what the previous year's activities had been for that period of time. And the board was requested to renew another $10,000 towards the next year of the employee wellness program, which they did. Let's see what else. That's about it.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is that wellness? What's that consist of?
Well, among the activities, they have different types of challenges like, healthy awareness challenges, eating healthy challenges. And they give out certificates of various types, such as gift certificates to Dairy Queen.
At the end of that.
Yeah, right, yeah. They brought in food trucks periodically, so they help support local business. They'll bring in food trucks and pay for lunch for the employees and whatnot. And there have been some individuals that had some successful reduction in, how do I say this? Some folks benefited by some weight loss, through the activities of the wellness program. They emphasized the fact that they were more productive and they had a better disposition during the day, during their work, because of the activities that occurred during this wellness program.
So that wouldn't be measurable, so that'd be visual. Okay. That's good. All right. Thank you very much. Tara,
All right, so just,
administrative report.
just to elaborate a little bit on what Chairman Eberling reported on the budget update. We did wrap up those scheduled meetings, so we'll be looking at a presentation and a public hearing sometime in October, November. And then our plan is to adopt the budget by the end of the year. So that's kind of where we're at with our budget right now. I think I might have mentioned this at our last meeting, but I'll mention it again. We did solicit RFPs for the ARPA consultant. So we do have those RFPs. We have distributed those to the committee. And at our last meeting, we did establish a meeting, which would take place on the third Tuesday of each month at 11. So it'll be here. So we're in the process of reviewing those RFPs, and the plan is to make a recommendation to the finance committee pretty quickly. So we'll get going on that. And then another RFP to mention, I think I talked about the parking lot improvements that we're working on. We're actually working with an engineer on those. We're running into issues with securing vendors or contractors right now because we're getting to the end of the season. So this whole project may be pushed to the spring. We've bid it out as one big project, and then we bid it out separately because there's, some curb work that needs to be done along with the ceiling, and we're just not getting, we're getting inquiries, but we're not getting any proposals. So we might be looking at pushing that back because unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Yeah, which makes sense. I didn't mean to butt in. It does make sense because if you talk to people that do blacktop, they're busy, right?
Yeah.
You see it everywhere, and there's a certain level of degrees what you have to pour blacktop. And I don't know what that is, 40 or 50 degrees. So
So do we just call it quits for this year?
Well, we might be.
The
to
engineering
that
work can be
point.
continue on, but
Yeah, the engineering work is all done. If we can, we're gonna try to get some of the curb work done, but we may not be able to seal it until next spring. So we'll keep you posted. You'll see things come through if we're ready to take action on those. But as of right now, there aren't any bids. And then just another quick update. This month is flying by. We have our household hazardous waste collection event is coming up on Wednesday, September 22nd.
any tires?
No tires, no. So this fairgrounds in Sandusky. And there is a flyer on the website. But we are collecting no tires, so don't bring your tires. But one of the items that we're accepting are TVs. So that's one of the added items.
I
As long
sent
as
that
it's
out
out
to
of the
all my
box.
district supervisors or.
I did as well.
Okay,
Where'd you say that's gonna be?
the fairgrounds
Got
in
it.
Sandusky, so. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara.
That's a change because we've done it at the fairgrounds before, but we have included tires.
So we did the tire collection events in the spring this year.
Okay,
It's because we weren't able to do any activities last year due to the COVID. So we wanted to get that tire collections taken care of. We had some grant funding. So we were able to utilize that grant funding.
any reason why we can't do tires as well? Is there a
We did
specific
have a
reason?
conversation about that, but we weren't sure about the need since we just did 2 drives. So we had 2 tire drives. I think it was April and
This
May.
spring, we had 2 of them.
I thought they got filled up.
What's that?
I thought they got
did,
filled
yes.
up, yeah.
Yeah, we did fill them up.
Tires is a big item.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks, Tara.
Yeah.
Any further questions for Tara? Okay, seeing none. Moving on, public comments, and these are agenda items only. There will be another time at the end of our meeting for public comments, not zeroed in for the agenda. Next is appointments, standing committee, have none. County commissioner appointments to board commissioners, none. County
Some
commission
questions
chair,
about the agenda.
pardon me?
So I have some questions about the agenda,
Oh, okay.
about the solar and the wind, or the solar and the wind, that you guys are. We were talking about the solar and the wind project and Peck and.
No, that's not on our agenda
Oh,
today.
you
though.
were talking about it. I heard you mention it.
Right, no, it's not actually on the agenda.
Oh, I was just wondering what that was regarding. Okay. You had mentioned it, so I was wondering what that was regarding. Okay. It's not on the agenda. You just mentioned it, so.
No county commission chair appointments, and next on our agenda, as I expressed in the start of our meeting, one of the amendments to our meeting is a discussion of resolution 87/2021, and I think each commissioner has a copy of that in front of you. So, Joe, do you want to go ahead and start the discussion?
We've received 2 resolutions that were from other counties. One was Ingham County, one was Grand Traverse. The gist of them being that Board of Commissioners adopted a position of giving out information, and backing the distribution of information for all, but not making a requirement on the part of the county to either enforce mask wearing for the Grand Traverse one or to force vaccinations on the part of both of them. And I think that's something that I would like to have our Board of Commissioners consider doing as well, in the term of course, advocating for all the information that's possible for people to understand it and be aware of it and make a decision accordingly, but that we would not advocate a requirement of vaccinations nor mask wearing when applicable with the mask wearing medics. Because we are entering into a season that it's quite possible there'll be an advocacy for mask wearing in specific areas where congregation is more densely populated. And it's the possibility exists that, the health department has the health department director in this case has the ability to be able to control local epidemics in the community using methods that deem fit for doing so. I would certainly would like to come out and say under no circumstances vaccination push required.
So you and I have had this conversation many times, as some of us had, all of us had. So I want to make it clear, so everyone hear this. During a pandemic, the county health director has the authority, legal authority.
Yep.
To mandate mask. I don't know about the vaccine, but mask in the county and shut.
Yeah.
Emergency, and I don't want to say use shut, but emergency action, sorry.
It's and the language doesn't say pandemic, it's specifically epidemic. And one could say, well, who determines what an epidemic is? And there's no definition in the statutes of any type what an epidemic actually is. So when you look and see what an epidemic is, it's an outbreak of a disease in a community. That's basically it. And so not unlike the MDHHS law that allows the director of the state, MDHHS, to take measures, whatever's necessary to reduce that epidemic threat, which is what we all lived under, right? Under emergency orders, the local health department can do as well. And we spoke about that in February when we had that petition for the governor to allow that local control. And it may have had an effect because that's her position now, is to let the local health departments determine it at a local level. And that's terrific because at a local level, there's a little bit more accountability through our constituents, through us, through the health department, and so on. So that measure is actually taking effect as we move forward into this. But I do believe, though, that, my own personal belief is there's no way that we should force people to take vaccinations. Now, we do see the federal government doing that. All federal employees are required to have vaccinations. But again, it's at a point still, even in this nation, where it's not required for you to just exist, that you have to take a vaccination. You have to quit your job if you choose to do other. But I'd like us to have a position that says we wouldn't require anybody or businesses or employers of any type to require vaccinations.
So this resolution, we can't stop it, but we don't condone it. Is that, I think that's what you're saying.
Well, in regard to your earlier question about, say, for example, our health department, when an epidemic is declared, and we still are under an epidemic or a pandemic, as it were, and yes, they can take measures that are necessary to reduce the threat in that community. There are those that are working with the health department and the health board to have something in between a mask order and an outbreak of some sort, some other measure. And we know that that's what the CDC has recommended, and that's what scientists have pointed to, which is reducing the density of the demographics, right? So having some space in between people, having a fresh air exchange is huge, right? Having HVAC systems that are capable of reducing the amount of the pathogen that's in the air. Those are all measures that can be done before you force people to wear masks all day long. So yeah,
Well, two things that I wanted to highlight, Commissioner White, is that there's been confusion and questions, maybe not confusion, but questions on can our county health director do that? And I always like to base my opinion or my thoughts on facts, and you brought it very clear, and you've said it here. They do have the legal authority to put that in place. Because I know all of a sudden here took a lot of heat over the last year. Why can't we change that? What are you doing to change it? We can't change that. That is he or she's legal right to do that.
Yeah,
So that's the first, but I want to make that very clear, whether we agree with it or disagree with it, they have the legality and the law to back them up. So the second part of the second issue I wanted to bring up or bring forth is we're saying we can't stop that the Michigan Health Division from mandating a vaccine, but we can oppose it theoretically. We can't oppose it legally.
well,
I'm just trying to base this on factual realities here.
you know, it's a good question to find out whether or not a government requiring its citizens, forcing them to inject, ingest, consume some foreign substance in their body. That I don't think that's been ruled on yet. It's interesting because that topic was brought up with Alan Dershowitz a while back, actually a couple of years ago, asking that very question, because our military, when you have the draft, you force those men into the military and you force them to take vaccines. They don't get to opt out, right? And the question was answered by the fact that your government can force you to fight in a war and put yourself in harm's way when you don't really want to. They can darn well force you to take a vaccine. But that's in the service of the defense of this country. When you have the selective service system is in order and they're actually drafting people, that's not the current conditions. And it wouldn't be that way for ordinary citizens. So I'm of the mindset that, no, we absolutely can't force people to do that. But we can see already that that's not being made necessary. Businesses left and right are making that a requirement. Now you're getting me on a roll here because like these businesses that are requiring that as part of their employment, they say, for example, Delta with their $200 surcharge on people because they're unvaccinated. They say, well, they got to cover their costs. The average unvaccinated COVID hospitalization is up roughly $50,000. Well, what's the next step? You're an employee and your wife is pregnant, and you're going to have a baby, and that's $30,000 in the hospital possibly. Are they going to charge you a surcharge for that as well? Where does it end? Anyhow.
Any other questions for Joe?
Public Health Code 368 of 1978 is the act that enables the local health department director or, the health officer to make those decisions. Specifically in an epidemic.
So do we want to take this under consideration and talk about it in our next meeting?
Put a proposal together.
Yep, I'm gonna put together a resolution. I'll do some more investigation to see what else is out there in terms of the language and what sort of things. But, what I'm asking is that we consider that when I do so, I'll submit it at the next meeting or whatever for you guys to take a look at. Is there anything specific that we definitely don't want to come out publicly and? Because for me, the mask wearing, while I'm not a fan of it, it's not on the same level as forcing individuals to vaccinate. They're two different things. And that's my line in the sand kind of a thing.
You have a question?
Well, there's been much debate on it on both sides of it. And that's not for us here to make decisions, but I think there's enough evidence on both sides. It's worth a discussion.
Follow-up question on the audience,
Next question.
or wait till the end.
You'll have to wait till the end of the time.
What's about the agenda?
Okay,
That'll be fine.
okay, moving on to committee reports. I have done unfinished business done and on to new business. and pertaining to our finance. First new business item is NFA 030-21.
We get to it.
Sorry about that, Joel. We have, John is absent
There.
today and I've asked
The
Commissioner Wyatt to, all right.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the appointment of Carl Osentowski of Sanilac and Huron Economic Development Commission to act as the liaison for the Sanilac County's participation in the Environmental Protection Agency's Brownfield Assessment Grant, and further authorize the board chairman to sign the letter of appointment.
Okay, been a motion made in support for approval of appointment of Carl Asentowski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion passed. Next is FA 138-21, approval of 2021 current claims.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of the current claims for 2021, identified on the accounts payable report dated August 31st, 2021, for the general bank account in the amount of 180,000. We're missing a comma there, huh? $889.42. Do I have it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, been a motion made in support. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the same, motion passed. Next is FA 141-21, approval of, did I miss one? I missed one, sorry. Too far. FA,
Go back.
I'm gonna do that one later.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right.
Well, there you go.
Okay, FA 140-21, approval of life skills agreement.
No, 139.
Do you not want to do 139?
What's that?
139.
Last one on the page. Okay.
So what I did, I put FA 156 in there and it should have been at the end. That's what threw me. Sorry. FA 139-21, budget adoption amendments, appropriations and transfers.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following budget amendments and establishes the following accounts as provided underneath.
Support. Okay, a motion made and support. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion passed. Now, next is FA 140-21, approval of life skills agreement.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the current Professional Counseling Center Life Skills Agreement for the fiscal year 2021 at a cost not to exceed $90,000, and further authorizes the board chairman to sign the necessary agreement.
Support.
Okay, the motion made and support approval of life skills agreement. Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion passed. Next is FA 141-21, approval of FY 2020, section 5339, buses and bus facilities competitive program.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves for the year of 2020, section 5339B, buses and bus facilities formula program, and further authorizes the board chairman to sign the necessary documents.
Support.
Okay, the motion made in support for FA 141-21. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion passed. Next is FA 142-21, acceptance of newspaper of record bid, Board of Commissioners.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby accepts the newspaper of record bid from the Sanilac County News effective August 1st, 2021 to August 1st, 2023.
Support.
There's been a motion made for FA 142-21 with the support. Any discussion or questions?
Just to follow up, I did reach out to the Minden City Herald and also the Tribune Recorder. Minden City Herald is unable to fulfill the required amount of deliveries. And then with regard to the Tribune Recorder, I never heard back.
Thank you for
Where we're at.
doing
And I know that was a topic of discussion 2 weeks ago in our meeting that you reached out.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you've done your due diligence and, yeah, okay, all right, very good. Okay, any further questions?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the same, motion passed. Next is FA 143-21, approval of change order recycling infrastructure.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the change order for the recycling infrastructure grant project at a cost not to exceed $2,475 for the purpose of adding 4 downspouts to the new cold storage building to route water away from the building with funding from the recycling center millage.
Support.
There's been a motion made and support for FA 143-21. Any further discussion? Did you want to mention anything about that, Tara? Or we're good? I think we're good to go. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passed. One of the add-ons in our meeting today for the amendment of our agenda was FA 156-20, the authorization amendment to purchase trailer, Sheriff's Office.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes and amends the bid for the sheriff's office to purchase a 7x16 enclosed cargo trailer from Thumb Express in Brown City at a cost not to exceed $6,707 with funding from the federal millage reimbursement.
Support. Okay, been a motion made in support for FA 156-20B. I'll open it up for discussion very quickly. I talked to Tara about this. If you recall back in, I think, January, we had 2 or 3 bids and we had to rebid again because they couldn't meet, one of the contractors couldn't meet the cost. And this is basically due to the COVID and prices of, if you bought lumber, bought steel here in the last year, it's skyrocketed. And obviously that's what took place here with this trailer that we approved to buy for the sheriff's office. So that's the reason for the up cost of the trailer. It couldn't be avoided.
An increase of $1,107 from January.
I didn't talk to our administrator about it. I didn't reach out to the sheriff. He's in the same boat we are. We agreed to purchase the trailer and no one could foresee the added cost coming up. And we knew there probably would be some, but that's what it resulted in. So. Okay, and no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion passed. Next on our agenda is public comments, and this is the time that anyone attending our meeting can have a public comment. And first of all, I want to read the rules of public comments. Number 1, you state your name. Number 2, you have 3 minutes. I will be timing you. And number 3, at no time can you ask for our thoughts on what you're talking about. Okay, it's a public comment. That's it.
Yep.
Then you
Hi, my name is Lisa Griffin. I'm a registered nurse at the Health Services Administration. I have done extreme study on virus, and I've done a lot of study on the mask, and I've done a lot of study on the vaccine. And after coming here today and listening to what you guys just said about masks, I am even more determined that we petition for Governor Ron DeSantis to become our governor. Our constitutional rights are being taken away from us, and for you to state that the health department can mandate that we wear masks is unconstitutional. If you look at what the masks do, they are extremely dangerous. The amount of viral load that is in a mask after being worn all day is extremely detrimental to the health of the individual, let alone children. When you put an air purifier on a mask, in less than 15 seconds, if you put an air quality measure that OSHA mandates people wear, in less than 10 seconds, that warning goes off. And when a person that works for whatever business, if that goes off, they have to leave immediately because it's dangerous for them to be in that environment. So you want to put a mask on people that within 10 to 15 seconds, the air quality monitor goes off and says it's dangerous for them to wear it. And you want to mandate that people wear masks? I'm sorry, no, 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 and no. So everybody in here, I believe, agrees with that. And you want to take away our constitutional rights to say that we cannot choose to wear a mask? I'm sorry, no. So again, I think that there's everybody here agrees with me that we don't want masks. We don't want vaccine passports. I don't know if you're aware of Bill A416. that they have coming out that is saying that they will put people that have even a provocation of having a disease such as COVID, that they're going to put in a detention center and mandate that they give them a mask. We don't want that. And it clearly shows when a lockdown comes again, are you guys going to, you said I can't ask questions, but you've shown it in the past, so I'm not going to ask you the question. You clearly locked down all of these restaurants and shut them down. Fiscally, they lost business. Liberty Lanes is closing. So I'm going to say you guys are going to do that again. These people cannot lose money again. You cannot close these businesses down again. It's not right. COVID is treatable with ivermectin within 24 hours. My cousin is an RN. She got ivermectin, cattle ivermectin, because they won't sell it. Kroger refused to give it to her. I have horses that have ivermectin. You could get it on a dime, $12.99, very cheap. They put Boticide in it, so it will kill you if you take it now. So she drank cattle ivermectin because Kroger refused to give it to her, cured her within 24 hours. Her mom got it, and she had to go to another county to get the ivermectin, cured her within 24 hours. So why is hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin not being given to the public, which treats COVID? Why? Because the government refuses to treat people because they want to scare people, because it is a communist government, and that's what they want to turn this into.
Lisa, thank you.
So,
Your time is
no,
up.
I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to
No,
speak.
no,
No, I'm
Lisa,
not.
your time is
No,
up.
I'm sorry, but I'm
Lisa,
going
you
to
have
continue.
3
No,
minutes.
I'm going to continue to speak, and I'm not
Lisa.
going, no, I'm not.
Lisa,
I
your time is
no,
up.
I'm not going to stop. So why are you
Lisa,
not going to petition
you're
for
out of
Governor
order. You're out of order.
DeSantis? Why are you not going to
You're out of
petition for
order.
Governor DeSantis? Why are you not going to petition for Governor DeSantis to, why
Lisa,
are you
you're out
guys
of order.
refusing to petition for Governor DeSantis to run this county? So we the people here, I think everybody here agrees that they want Governor DeSantis.
Lisa, your
So
time is up.
I know that my time is up, but
Your
I'm
time
not
is
going
up.
to stop. No, because you guys
Lisa,
won't
your time
answer
is
the
up.
question. And you specifically said you won't petition for Governor DeSantis. So
No, that was,
that was
Don't
you.
go there, Gary.
Don't put
No,
words in my
you
mouth.
said that you would not
Sheriff, we
petition
need
for
you to come
Governor
in the meeting,
DeSantis.
please.
So get the sheriff. Go ahead, kick me out, because we want to petition for Governor DeSantis for Sanilac County. Will you do that? Yeah, exactly. You guys can please stand up and ask them yourself, because as you see, they're going to refuse to do it.
Any other public comment?
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
When the health department, you said they have the authority to mandate masks.
Can I give your name? Lisa Griffin. John Griffin.
Is the CDC the only place they get their information from? Are they directed by the CDC, or where does the health department get their information to determine whether or not to mandate?
To answer your question, what I know, and I don't know if it's all the information that I have legally, but Commissioner Wyatt and I have had meetings with the health director. And he said that they follow the science of basically the CDC and other regulatory.
So basically, it's the CDC.
Yeah. And there may be more to it. I don't know. You know.
Remember, folks, the health board meets, right, every month. It's a public meeting. You should attend.
You know when that is? Can we get that information?
It's just, I don't have it, but it is posted on the county website and the health department's website. That's probably the best place to go to.
So ask them. Yeah.
Is that, sir, does that answer your question? Probably not
It does.
entirely.
I just,
but You have, go ahead.
there's just so many directions and so much information out there. If they're just one source, there's a lot of other sources.
And believe you me, I think I can speak safely. We're all in the same boat. You know, we didn't understand the complexity of this. We didn't understand a lot of things, and, you know, I still don't, you know, and there's, I think I wrote to a couple organizations I belong to outside of here, we still don't know all of the facts about it. Maybe we'll never get all the facts, you know, but, and I think we all understand there was things that happened that hurt our county. And we're sympathetic to that, believe me. But as I said earlier in the meeting, we have to talk with facts and we have to talk with the legalities. We just can't, you know, we took a lot of heat over the last year that we better do something and we just can't do something. We have to follow the law. And I don't use that excuse. I mean, we have to deal with facts.
The legalities are there, but the facts are, so, thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
the law isn't always right either. It's corrupt. And we know that Michigan has corrupt laws.
Yeah.
End of story.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Tom McMahon. I used to be a former Sanilac County Medical Care Facility employee for over 22 and a half years. And I have a complaint and my dear friend, significant other, and et cetera, was injured at the Sanilac Medical Care Facility here in Sandusky on July the 5th. Head lacerations, laceration by her right eye, broken left wrist, bed sores, and trouble with her legs. And she has been at Saginaw St. Mary's Hospital, McLaren Hospital in Port Huron, and a lot of pain and suffering. Last Monday, we buried her. And something needs to be done in regards to the medical care facility. And they are firing employees over there right now. They have fired an employee, probably has 25 years or more, a director of nurses. A lady that was in the dietary department for 10 years has been fired. And a maintenance man has left the facility over there. And another one that's been there 3.5 years has left the facility. There is no patience in the 600. There is no patience in the 700. They're moving everybody down to the main end. Now, something has to be done. Now, paying a maintenance of effort costs $150,000, $160,000, or I don't know what it is. I feel the administrator needs to be removed, and some of the administrative help, like the social worker and a few others, need to be removed at once. And I'm concerned for the patients who are in the facility right now. What kind of care will they have? Will they get bed sores? Will there be injuries? And I have the paperwork showing that Jean was injured at the medical care facility, and I plan to take legal action against the medical care facility. And there is another family right now in the process of taking legal action against the medical care facility. It either will be run right. I request that the medical care facility in Sandusky here be closed. And also, I'm here in regards to the town clock, which I put in here years ago. I started with the clock in 1997. And a new clock was put on Elk Street. And then we had an accident. So I had the new clock put over here at the courthouse. I had trouble with some of the commissioners, and they're giving me trouble about finishing. And Mr. Rudy called me up one day and said, what do we got to do so you can finish the clock? So I was able finally to finish it. But I wasn't happy with some of the things that's been going on over there. I had the land.
Tom, your time is up, but if I can explain to you, I've already reached out a couple weeks ago, both to our county administrator and the medical care facility. I sent them an email and we would like to meet with you. In fact, before our meeting today, I met with our administrator and we'd like to set up a meeting possibly into this week or next week and go over some of your concerns with the medical care facility. Would you be open to that?
I've been willing to go through it as long as they're, you know, sticking up for it, because I got paperwork showing she was injured.
Okay.
Plus, I got the medical records.
So we want to set up an hour-long meeting with you, probably here in the courthouse. And so if you're entertaining that,
Will it be with just yous or who?
it'll be myself, the county administrator, and the administrator from the medical care facility, and yourself.
Well, I don't know if that's going to do any good, because I had the meeting with yous before. You were here, the county administrator was there, Dave Robinson, and myself, and the administrator from the facility was on.
Would you be open to the meeting? That's my question.
I'd be able to come to, the meeting, but I would like the county to do something about this, not brush it off.
Let's have the meeting. We can, and we can find out your,
But I don't know what good it will do to have the administrator here from the facility.
we hear both sides of the story for one.
Well, you already heard the story. My dear Jean has passed on and she was injured.
Can you get with our administrator, call her and make sure what date's good for you? Time.
I can get with her, but I feel I would like to have fair treatment on this matter.
We'll give you fair treatment.
Because otherwise I feel there's just too much brush off. And people don't care that people are in the medical care facility paying over $3,000 a month and get neglected care.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else?
Afternoon, gentlemen. Michael Sage, DT Energy. I was here probably about a month ago, talking about our permitting for tie line 4105. And I just wanted to say that here we are a month later and things are moving along quite nicely, right? We've got some holes in the ground, got some work being done. We've got, I believe it's 15 of the agreements with landowners so far. We got a few more to go yet, but I just wanted to say thank you for your help. You know, from the last time I was here, we've got a lot of progress going forward with it. We've got all the design work done for the next phase and they're working on the third phase. So the next time we meet with the road commission, we're going to provide them all of the design and we'll get it approved all at one time, is the plan. So again, it's moving along nicely. You know, it's been a rough season weather-wise for us, so we've lost some of our progress there, but otherwise we're doing pretty good. So
It's been a long haul, but you're moving forward.
we are, yes, sir.
That's always
Should,
good to hear.
you know, pay benefits in the long run, definitely, as we harden the system here and make it more reliable for you guys. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, any other public comment? Saying none?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to finish with regards to the clock matter.
Yeah,
Can I
well,
finish it?
because you combine the two together.
I have one more question. It's just a question. Can
You've had your time, Lisa.
I
You
have a
took more
question.
time than we gave
I,
you.
no, I just have a question.
No, we gave you more time than you asked for. Okay, we're going to move on to, I'll entertain a
I
motion.
haven't explained in
Lisa,
regards to the clock.
anybody that wants something else to say is free to say it at the next meeting, which is the Finance and Administration meeting. We have a public comment section there as well. So think about your 3 minutes of what you'd like to discuss and join us at the Finance and Administration. That'll start after this meeting's
Okay,
over.
thank you.
Next, we have a closed session. We're going to review attorney-client communication. We'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Support. We had to,
Mine, we're gonna have a closed session, so if everybody could leave.
we got to do a roll call here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wyatt,
Yep.
Commissioner Ballas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sarcella.
Yes.
Commissioner Black, absent, and Chairman Huber.
Yes.
See you back in about 10 minutes.
Okay.